You selected the course Building Industry Contracts. This is topic 1. For your own interest here, the photo, the aerial photo shown there is the Sunshine Coast University Hospital under construction, which is one of the largest public-private partnership agreements in recent times in Queensland. Before we get too far, let's just quickly summarise some of the course and Moodle requirements. If you have any questions or require any information, in the first instance, refer to the front page of the Moodle site. Any questions or assistance during the term, then contact me by email. You can phone me on my mobile, or you can post a question to the forum. Questions can also be posted amongst yourselves, and you can have discussions with other students on the forum as well. I'll be posting news and additional material and clarification throughout the term as well. Something about assessment submissions. Extensions of times are rarely going to be granted, and the requirement is that you use the online assignment extension requests as well. Be very clear about assignment requirements and what is expected in regards to the submissions. I also want to clarify here that this presentation is not a substitute for the study guide. It's merely a supplement and a summary of the course learnings. So the contract, what's the contract all about? I always believe that the aim with a contract and contract administration is to keep better records than the other party. And that becomes a really serious issue in the event of a relationship breakdown. Be clear that contract administration is an overhead cost, and so it's the contract and the administration of it is core really to the overall success of the project, the profitability and the adding value to the project as well. So the contract, in essence, it minimises unwelcome costs and time, assists in communication. It clearly identifies responsibilities of all parties involved. It ensures the adoption of the original agreements and decisions that have been made by both parties in the original. And it acts as a double insurance because everybody knows what the rules are. Get clear that there's a variety of client-contractor relationships in the building industry, and the choice will be influenced considerably by particular circumstances for a project. And the types of or formats of contracts that we'll be looking at in this subject will range from cost reimbursement to cost plus, and at the end of the scale, then truly lump sum projects. The essential differences between these extreme forms of contracts is that it's the carrying of the risk or the profit and the loss and similar incentives that are built into the contract to encourage the contractor to provide an efficient and economical service to the client. In deciding upon a type of contract or a suitable contract, I think really consideration needs to be given to the incentives also, which generally are built into the contract, and these encourage the builder to provide an efficient and economic service to the builder owner. The better known and accepted relationships, they're the ones, or they're the contract formats that we're going to outline and discuss in this presentation. And we'll start with contracts that provide total risk being borne by the building owner, ascending to those which provide or have the risk. So to arrive at a decision when choosing a particular building contract and owner-builder relationship form of contract, there's many factors that need to be considered. And a lot of these factors come from the nature of the project, as well as the availability of labour, materials, the form of construction, magnitude of carrying costs, speed of the construction required. So it might be a commercial premises that needs a return an income to the owner. The advantage to the building owner of builder's know-how, so his knowledge of building that particular type of building, a desired date or a target date that's required to deliver the building. Other issues such as the type or form of construction. It may be a particular type of construction that might be hard to scope the work initially. or it might be over a duration of a long period of time as well. In the course, we consider 8 sort of typical forms of contract that are used in the building industry. There's variations on these 8 forms of contract, but if we look at them from the top, target sum, they all vary here. It's where the builder offers to execute the works for a guaranteed maximum sum or a target sum. An estimate and scope is derived from sketch plans. It's quite difficult because it's really not competitive due to the amount of risk then that the builder has to take on board, and so you've got that risk of the unknown with the sketch plans associated with the additional risk of trying to have to deliver this project at a guaranteed maximum sum. So it is, I must say, useful on very unusual projects or one-offs. It's quite difficult to cost monitor, and often it can be difficult with agreeing and pricing variations, particularly when you consider the original scope. That's where the contractors paid the cost of the materials and resources plus an agreed percentage. This is useful in emergency sort of building situations when there's very little time, insufficient time. There's generally no incentives for the contractor to complete a project quickly, and there's not a great deal of cost incentive on a cost plus project also. Cost audit is generally a target sum. Having said that, though, it's got the additional provision of using a quantity surveyor to audit all costs on the projects. That's including wages, invoices, subcontracts, and everything. And by doing that, this protects the building owner's interests. It doesn't, however, guarantee incorrect charges or costings. So consider construction management, which is where an organisation, often a builder, that enters into a contract or a relationship with a building owner, and this relationship is probably similar to any other key consultant on the building project, like the architect. The construction manager is paid a fee. The project's fully designed, but at a staged process. So there's delayed letting of trades and materials on this type of contract. Provisional sum contracts, which are based on preliminary working drawings and a specified bill of quantities, which also becomes a part of the contract documents, is put together. The sketch plans and preliminary drawings are useful because they develop a scope for the project. The scope then can be varied as a result of the specified bill of quantities. Proper tender documentation is prepared, but it's at a reduced cost and time frame to what it would be on a traditional project. Traditional lump sum, which is, I must say, my favourite. All the documents, drawing, specification, everything fully documented and detailed. All goes out to tender, is priced, and comes back again. There's an instrument for variations and cost control and program control on the project. Having said that, though, I must say one of the negatives with this form of contract delivery is its long lead time in its design and tender. Schedule of rates is usually adopted when you're really unsure of the full project scope. The work's carried out at pre-agreed rates. In my experience, used it in hospital refurbishments and also in civil works where you've got so many kilometres, but you're unsure of what that's going to be in road and different forms of piping, that type of thing. Also used in maintenance contracts and is ideal for variations and unknown time. Form of contract, and probably the most popular in a commercial sense, is the design and construct, which is used in a lot of commercial deliveries of buildings and assets. This form is similar to target sum, but it's not always clear on the specific quality, which is often a problem for clients with a design and construct project. The builder retains probably more control on this form of contract than others. Having said that, though, there's a real good contribution of expertise and guidance by the builder that can be had with this form of contract delivery. So put simply, in choosing a form of contract, it's time, cost and quality that is the main variation in all of those 8 forms that we've very quickly summarised there. And there's advantages and disadvantages for each one of those contracts in all cases, either for the builder or for the building owner. We consider a very summarised advantages and disadvantages table here. You can see more clearly the time, cost and quality issues. Quality I'm referring to as in the design, keeping the design exactly how the building owner wanted it. And you can see from design and construct through to lump sum, through to construction management, all these issues change, whether it be the amount of design considerations in place or not in place, the time, cost and resources required to design and get it out to tender, or otherwise issues associated with cost monitoring, variations, those type of contract administration. So as you can see, deciding upon the most suitable form of contracts, not really an easy task. But having said that, there's enough variation there and there's enough forms out there in the marketplace at the moment, from cost plus at one end to lump sum contracts at the other, to really consider incentives to the builder, consider cost and cost effectiveness, to consider design input, and also consider time. We've come to the end of the Topic 1 presentation, and it's a good opportunity now to go back and read through the study guide, refer to the subject text that's called up in the study guide, and also work through the workbook activities while you're doing each topic. Again, as I said earlier, if you've got any questions, post them to the group or email the lecturer.